Okay, picture this. You've got a 40-year-old goalkeeper named Vozinha playing for a tournament debutant, literally throwing himself across the goal line to make 7 unbelievable saves. That right there is the exact moment the reigning European champions, Spain, realized this expanded World Cup was absolutely not going to follow the script. A 0-0 shutout. Just a massive historic shock to hope in the whole tournament.
All right, welcome to this explainer. The biggest World Cup in history, we're talking 48 teams, 12 groups, 3 host nations, has finally exhaled its first full breath. And look, rather than just giving you a standard boring summary, we're going to look strictly at the data, the tactics, and those undeniable shocks that defined Matchday 1. Because right out of the gate, we already have a tournament with a massive personality.
75. That's the massive total number of goals scored across the 24 opening fixtures. So what does a number like 75 actually mean for us watching at home? Going into a 48-team format, the big fear was that the expanded field would just completely dilute the spectacle. Experts were worried that lower-ranked teams would just show up, park the bus, and play for these completely unwatchable 0-0 draws. But instead, we're seeing a healthy, highly entertaining, attack-minded average of roughly 3.1 goals per game. Teams are genuinely coming to play, the entertainment value is absolutely there, and this attacking intent has set a blistering pace for the rest of the group stages. 27. I just want you to let that number sink in for a second. 27. Because this is the cautionary tale of the round. 27 shots, more than 2 expected goals. Yet Spain walked away with absolutely nothing. Look, without the injured 18-year-old Lamine Yamal to unlock that packed penalty box, Spain's attack was just blunt. It was totally predictable. They passed side to side, but they never went through. They completely dominated the ball, but they completely lacked the final ball. And it proved a vital tactical lesson. In this expanded era, possession without penetration is a massive liability against deep, disciplined defensive blocks. Cabo Verde earned this point by keeping their shape brilliantly, shifting side to side as a cohesive unit, and of course, Vozinha delivering an absolute masterclass between the posts. 16. Now, from the biggest shock of the round, we pivot directly to the biggest legend. Guys, Lionel Messi isn't just showing up to defend a title, he is actively rewriting the all-time record books right out of the gate. Against Algeria, he netted his first World Cup hat-trick, which draws him entirely level with the all-time record of 16 World Cup goals. But it wasn't just individual brilliance, right? Argentina looked completely cohesive. They controlled the tempo, their midfield rotations were incredibly balanced, and they immediately established Messi as the early frontrunner for both the Golden Boot and the Golden Ball. This team knows exactly how to maximize his movement, and the data tells us they are operating at a terrifying level of efficiency. 7-1, a scoreline with a uniquely ominous echo through World Cup history, and it's making noise once again. This was Germany's thunderclap, a totally ruthless 7-1 demolition of Curaçao. Now, you can add caveats about the opposition, sure, but the underlying data shows a terrifying return to form. This wasn't just luck or poor defending. Germany deployed an aggressive, high-pressing system that simply choked Curaçao in their own half. By combining relentless ball winning with immediate vertical intent, they bypassed the midfield entirely. Basically, whenever they won the ball, they immediately looked forward, exploiting spaces before the defense could ever even set up. It was a statement scoreline that instantly reframed the conversation around their contender status. The steamroller is officially back. But beyond the heavyweights, there's this incredible David versus Goliath thread weaving through the tournament right now. A debutante nation making history with a header.
52. That represents the decades-long wait for the specific nation's next historic moment.
52 years after their World Cup debut, the Democratic Republic of Congo stunned a heavily favored Portugal side. While all the cameras were entirely focused on Cristiano Ronaldo starting his record 23rd World Cup match, the reality on the pitch was being dictated by DR Congo. Arthur Mazuaku delivered an incredible cross, and Yoani Wissa powered home the header. And here's the craziest part. If you look at the expected goals metric, which measures the true quality of chances created, the Congolese were genuinely the better side on the pitch. Portugal's massive expectations crashed headfirst into DR Congo's brilliant tactical organization and their lethal set-piece threat. This was absolutely no fluke. It was a masterclass in execution. 5-1, another totally lopsided score, but this time it belongs to the tournament's biggest dark horse.
This scoreline builds into an undeniable warning sign for the rest of the field. Sweden completely blew the doors off Tunisia. They boast an elite, tournament-grade forward line with genuine attacking venom that is utterly terrifying in transition.
Honestly, they're the breakout side that casual fans aren't really talking about yet, but the data says they absolutely should be. With an attack functioning at this ruthless level, supported by a hardworking, industrious spine that wins the ball and moves it forward instantly, Sweden has the exact profile of a team built to ruin a favorite summer in the knockout stages. Seriously, do not sleep on them. And speaking of attacking venom, look at how the golden boot race is shaping up early on. Messi obviously leads the pack with 3, but right behind him, you've got Kylian Mbappe doing what he does best for France, and Folarin Balogun. Balogun's 2 goals in the USA's 4-1 statement win over Paraguay made him the first American man to score multiple goals in a World Cup game since 1930. The co-hosts are absolutely flying, their crowd is fully behind them, and their star forward is pacing right there with the game's ultimate legends.
So we've seen the shocks, we've seen the high-scoring thrillers, but I want to pose this question directly to you, leaning in on the data we've covered so far. Who is the biggest favorite in real trouble after Matchday 1?
Well, the data points to exactly one heavyweight, Portugal. Everyone was caught up in the emotional farewell narrative for Ronaldo, but tactically, Portugal had a major wobble. Being held to a draw by DR Congo and actually looking second best in pure chance creation is a massive red flag for a team with title aspirations. When they pressed, they did it without a cohesive plan for the second phase, leaving these glaring holes in the midfield, and they were punished for it. Right now, their brightest spark is a 21-year-old midfielder, João Neves, who scored their only goal and dictated their best spells. But as a collective system, they are vulnerable, they're disjointed, and that is absolutely not how a champion starts a tournament.
Which brings us to our final data-driven conclusion for this explainer. Based on everything we saw in Matchday 1, Portugal's structural, tactical vulnerability, combined with Colombia's completely dominant, cohesive 3-1 win over Uzbekistan, we are making this call right now. Colombia will win Group K over Portugal. Screenshot this, save this explainer, share it with your friends, and let's see if the evidence holds up. Thanks so much for joining me to break down Matchday 1, and I'll see you for the next round of analysis.